Well, this is going to be an interesting and probably my most controversial review on the channel. Well, at least to begin with. So, welcome back everyone. Yep, that's right. Today I'm of course taking a look at not only GTA 3, but Vice City and San Andreas 2. Considering most of the stuff I have to say about these games is something I can say about all three of them, I decided why not just make one video on these three games and move on with my life. So basically, before I get into the video, I just want to give a massive thanks to everyone who's shown support for the channel, either being a comment, liking, or even subscribing, or even just watching one video. All of this means a lot. There's recently been some controversy with a YouTuber, not naming names, but I did get to think about that, and I don't remember the last time I've shown gratitude to anyone who's watched these videos. So honestly, thank you all for this, because this means a lot. So let's take a look at these games and see how good they were. So starting off with GTA 3, it released in 2001 for the PlayStation 2 and eventually arrived on the Xbox and a multitude of other consoles. So GTA 3 revolves around Claude, who very much is out for revenge on his ex, Catalina, who basically betrayed him and kind of left him for dead after a robbery. Pretty much throughout the story, Claude's just working with various criminals, most notably the Yakuza and Leone family, and trying to get to Catalina by any means necessary. Overall, it's a decent entry in the series. Story-wise, it's actually probably my favorite one. Gameplay-wise, obviously I'll get into that later. So, obviously, let's take a look at 2002's Vice City. Well, Vice City is a game that is dear to quite a lot of people. If not this, well, if not San Andreas, it's this game or GTA 4 that people will quote as as the first GTA or their favorite. So Vice City is one that I've been mixed on quite a lot, and I think this is where my issues with these games kind of start to set in. So basically, Vice City revolves around Tommy Vercetti, who's trying to find out who ambushed this deal he was in that left, well, a couple people dead. So pretty much that's kind of what Vice City is about. Throughout the game, Tommy is of course acquiring various businesses and kind of setting up a very nice life for him in Vice City, and eventually has to part ways on very bad terms with his superiors, and obviously has to deal with the betrayal with his buddy Lance Vance. Overall, Vice City is an interesting game, but in my opinion, it's easily the most flawed entry in the series. I'll get into that later though. Obviously now we have Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, arguably the most iconic entry in the series, and arguably one of the more controversial entries because of the hot coffee mod. So let's take a look at that one. So San Andreas released in 2004, and again, many will say it's arguably one of the best Grand Theft Auto games. Me personally, again, this is one I'm more mixed on too. I've had good memories of this one, but obviously if you've seen the games I've gave up on list, you'll kind of know why I really don't like this one too much. So basically, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas focuses on Carl Johnson, or CJ. He returns to San Andreas 5 years later after a bit of time in Liberty City after his brother Brian was killed. He returns to San Andreas once he finds out that his mom was killed, and very much just is trying to kind of help his gang and old friends kind of, kind of get a bit more power in the territory. So basically, obviously, eventually CJ kind of is forced into an exile after he finds out that his two buddies, Big Smoke and Ryder, have betrayed Grove Street. This leads to Sweet being imprisoned, and obviously CJ working with various other people throughout the area, most notably a woman named Catalina, who obviously we see in GTA 3, Salvatore Leone, who also appears in GTA 3, and of course Ken Rosenberg, who appeared in Vice City. Kind of interesting. Obviously, eventually CJ is able to go back to Los Santos, and it's of course during at this time that Officer Tenpenny, the man who accused CJ of murdering a police officer and who kind of had CJ doing his nasty work, he basically is kind of brought up on some criminal charges and let go. This of course causes some riots to happen, and that kind of leads into like the Funnel Pub game. CJ eventually goes after him and Big Smoke. Well, after Big Smoke dies, he goes after him. Obviously, Ryder dies earlier in the story as CJ starts taking down the Loco Syndicate. And so that's really how GTA San Andreas ends. It ends with Officer Tenpenny dying in a crash, and CJ's life seems to actually improve as he becomes a rapper known as Mad Dog's manager, and seems to have quite a few business opportunities made for him. So, the question is, why do I dislike these games so much, and do I recommend them? Frankly, I really dislike these games because of the mission design. Several missions are just way too tedious, and frankly, suck any enjoyment out from these games. Gameplay itself is kind of in the same boat. I don't really think these games aged all that well, and all three of them have various issues with GTA 3 just kind of just being too difficult to really play at times. But Vice City, with how you progress the story, I kind of find it to be boring, having to buy up various businesses and do various missions for them in order to really progress the story. I don't really think it's good gameplay, but that's my opinion. San Andreas, on the other hand, gets boring about halfway through and really only gets interesting towards the end. I feel like there were way too many missions with this one, and the RPG elements that they added, like the various skills for the weapons and stuff, and fitness and other things, I personally think it kind of made San Andreas a little too tedious to really enjoy. Overall, that's really all I feel about these games. On their own, they have some really decent qualities about them, such as the characters in them. Like, that is one thing I did enjoy about these games, is the characters, and there's some good voice acting in these ones, but frankly that's not enough for me to really return to these games. Obviously, if you should play them, personally, I'd recommend them if you are looking into wanting to play these games, but if you're just looking for like any Grand Theft Auto game to play, personally, I kind of would say Grand Theft Auto 5 is probably the easiest one to get into, considering its gameplay is definitely much better. Same thing with the driving controls. Mission design isn't too bad. But other than that, I'd say GTA 4 is probably a good one to get into, but I have my own opinions on that one. So, obviously, that's all I have for today. So until then, goodbye, thank you all for watching, and I'll be back next time with a Call of Duty Ghosts review. So, see ya, and again, thank you all for watching.